A practical breakthrough is heading straight toward you, and the only thing standing between where you are today and the moment everything clicks into place is whether you are willing to trust what you cannot yet see. If you are a Taurus watching this right now, this message did not find you by accident. Something in the energy around your life is rearranging itself in a way that is quiet, deliberate, and deeply powerful. Not loud, not flashy. No, this is the kind of shift that builds beneath your feet like solid ground forming, where there was once only uncertainty. And you have felt that uncertainty. The things that used to feel stable have started to wobble. The plans you made with such care have started to bend under the weight of circumstances you could not have predicted. And because steadiness is a core part of your identity, that wobbling has shaken you in ways you probably have not admitted to anyone. But I see it. And what is coming next is going to prove that the wobbling was never a sign of collapse. It was a sign that something stronger was being built underneath. Stay with me through every section of this message. Each one speaks to a different layer of what you are experiencing, and by the end, something inside you is going to settle into a calm you have not felt in a very long time. Let us begin. Tip 1. The stability you are craving already exists inside you. There is a deep hunger inside you right now, and it is not for food or comfort or even love in the traditional sense. What you are hungry for is stability. You want to feel solid again. You want to wake up in the morning and know with that bone-deep Taurus certainty that the ground beneath you is firm and that the day ahead is manageable and that the future, while unknown, is at least headed in a direction that makes sense. And the absence of that feeling has been quietly devastating you. Not in a dramatic, falling apart kind of way, because that is not your style. You fall apart slowly, silently behind closed doors, in the hours when nobody is watching. You hold it together in front of the world because that is what you have always done, because people depend on your steadiness, because showing cracks feels like a betrayal of the very identity you have built your life around. But the cracks are there, and pretending they are not has been costing you more energy than you realize. Every day that you wake up and put on the mask of someone who has it all under control, you are spending emotional reserves that are not being replenished. You are running on fumes and calling it strength. And while there is something admirable about your ability to endure, there is also something deeply important that you need to hear right now. Endurance without replenishment is not strength. It is slow erosion, and you have been eroding. Not visibly, not in ways that other people can point to, but internally, in the quiet spaces where your real self lives, the self that is tired and uncertain and desperate for someone to say that it is okay to not have everything figured out. So let me be that someone right now. It is okay. It is okay to not know what comes next. It is okay to feel unsteady. It is okay to admit, even if only to yourself in this moment, that the stability you have been projecting outward is not fully matched by what you feel inside. Because here is the truth that is going to change everything for you. The stability you are craving does not come from your circumstances. It never did. It comes from you. It comes from a place so deep inside you that no external event can reach it. No financial worry can shake it. No relationship upheaval can disturb it. That place is your core, your center, the still point around which your entire life rotates. And right now you have lost touch with it. Not because it disappeared, but because you have been so focused on trying to stabilize everything around you that you forgot to stabilize yourself first. You have been rearranging the furniture while the foundation trembles, and what you need to do is stop. Stop rearranging. Stop fixing. Stop managing every detail of your external world for just a moment and turn inward. Because when you reconnect with that inner center, when you drop down past the anxiety and the to-do lists and the financial worries and the relationship questions and all the noise that has been crowding your mind, you are going to find something remarkable. You are going to find that the stability was there all along. It never left. It was just buried under the weight of everything you were carrying for everyone else. And the moment you touch it again, the moment you feel that deep, unshakable calm that is your birthright as a Taurus, everything external is going to start reflecting it. The circumstances of your life are going to begin organizing themselves around your inner state, not the other way around. That is how it works for your sign. You do not create stability by controlling your environment. You create stability by anchoring yourself so deeply in your own worth, your own truth, your own quiet power, that the environment has no choice but to reorganize itself to match. And that anchoring is what is about to happen. The practical breakthrough I mentioned at the beginning. This is where it starts. Not with an external event, but with an internal shift that changes how you relate to every external event from this point forward. Tip 2. You have been confusing patience with paralysis. You are one of the most patient signs in the entire zodiac. And that patience is genuinely one of your greatest gifts. You can wait. You can endure. You can sit with uncertainty longer than almost anyone else and not lose your mind in the process. But there is a shadow side to that patience that I need to talk to you about right now, because it has been active in your life and it has been masquerading as wisdom when it is actually fear. There is a difference between patience and paralysis, and lately you have been confusing the two. Patience is active. It is a conscious choice to wait because the timing is not right, because the conditions have not aligned, because you have assessed the situation with clear eyes and determined that the wisest course of action is to hold steady. That is real patience, and it requires courage and discernment and trust. But what you have been doing lately is something different. You have been calling it patience, but if you are honest with yourself, it is more like avoidance. You have been using your natural ability to wait as a shield against the discomfort of taking action, of making a decision, of stepping into the unknown and risking the stability that you have worked so hard to build. There is something you know you need to do, a conversation you need to have, a change you need to make, a step you need to take that has been sitting on the edge of your awareness for weeks, maybe months, maybe even longer. And every time it surfaces, every time that inner voice whispers that it is time, you push it back down with the same comfortable excuse. Not yet. I am waiting for the right moment. I am being patient, but the right moment has already come and gone. Multiple times. The door has opened and you have stood at the threshold and then stepped back, telling yourself that you were being cautious when in reality you were being afraid. And I say this with enormous compassion, because fear is not weakness. Fear is a natural human response to the unknown, and for someone who values security as deeply as you do, the unknown is particularly threatening. But here is what you need to understand. The security you are protecting by staying still is an illusion. It is not real security. Real security is not the absence of risk. Real security is the deep knowledge that no matter what happens, no matter what changes, no matter what falls apart or rearranges itself, you have the inner resources to handle it. And you do have those resources. You have proven it over and over again throughout your life. Every time something went wrong, every time the rug was pulled out from under you, every time life delivered something you did not plan for and did not want, you handled it. Maybe not gracefully, maybe not without pain, but you handled it. You survived. You adapted. You rebuilt. And you can do it again. So the question is not whether you are capable of handling what comes next. The question is whether you are willing to stop hiding behind a version of patience that has become a prison. Because the practical breakthrough that is heading your way requires movement from you. It is not going to land in your lap while you sit still. It is going to meet you halfway, but you have to start walking toward it first. That first step does not have to be dramatic. It does not have to be a leap of faith that terrifies you to your core. It can be small. It can be a single conversation, a single decision, a single moment where you choose action over avoidance and trust that the ground will hold you when you land. That is all it takes to break the spell of paralysis. One step, one decision, one moment of choosing movement over comfort. And once you take it, you are going to feel something you have not felt in a long time. The exhilaration of forward motion. The aliveness that comes from engaging with your life instead of merely enduring it. The quiet thrill of proving to yourself that you are still capable of change, still capable of growth, still capable of surprising yourself in the best possible way. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Tip 3. Someone has been testing your boundaries and you have been letting them. There is a relationship in your life that has been quietly draining you, and I think you already know which one I am talking about. You might not have wanted to face it. You might have been making excuses for this person, finding reasons to justify their behavior, telling yourself that they do not mean any harm, that they are just going through a difficult time, that things will get better eventually. But deep down, in that gut level, knowing that you as a Taurus have access to more than almost any other sign, you know the truth. This person has been testing your boundaries, not in obvious, dramatic ways that would give you a clear reason to push back. No, it has been subtle, incremental, the kind of slow boundary erosion that happens so gradually you do not even notice it until one day you look up and realize that you are living according to someone else's rules and you have no idea how you got here. Started with small requests, little favors that seemed reasonable at the time. Then the requests got bigger. Then they stopped being requests and started being expectations. Then the expectations became demands, and the demands became the invisible architecture of your daily life, shaping how you spend your time, your energy, your resources, your emotional bandwidth, in ways that serve this other person far more than they serve you. And every time you considered pushing back, every time you thought about saying no, there was a voice in your head that talked you out of it. Maybe it said you were being selfish. Maybe it said that good people do not set hard boundaries. Maybe it reminded you of everything this person has done for you in the past, as if past kindness gives someone unlimited access to your future energy. But here is what you need to understand, and I want you to really let this sink in. Boundaries are not walls. They are not acts of aggression or rejection or cruelty. Boundaries are acts of self-respect. They are the lines you draw around your energy to protect your ability to function, to create, to love, to give, to live the life that is yours to live. And when someone repeatedly crosses those lines, they are not showing you love. They are showing you that their needs matter more to them than your well-being. That is not a relationship. That is a transaction in which you are always paying and they are always receiving. And as a Taurus, you have a tendency to stay in these dynamics far longer than you should, because leaving feels like instability, and instability is what you fear most. But staying in a dynamic that costs you your peace is its own form of instability. It is just the kind that happens on the inside rather than the outside. The kind that erodes your sense of self so slowly that you do not realize how much of yourself you have given away until there is almost nothing left. The energy right now is supporting you in reclaiming what you have lost. It is giving you the clarity to see this dynamic for what it is and the courage to do something about it. That does not necessarily mean cutting this person out of your life entirely. For some of you, it might. But for many of you, it simply means having a conversation that you have been avoiding. It means saying clearly and calmly and without apology what you will and will not accept going forward. It means letting the discomfort of that conversation exist without backing down, without softening your position, without taking responsibility for how the other person reacts to hearing the truth. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Your well-being is. And when you finally draw that line, when you finally stand in your own power and declare that your peace is not negotiable, you are going to feel something open up inside you that has been closed for a long time. Space. Room to breathe. Room to think clearly. Room to make decisions that are based on what you actually want rather than what keeps someone else comfortable. That space is where the practical breakthrough lives. You cannot receive what is coming while your hands are full of someone else's expectations. Tip 4. The financial foundation is shifting in your favor. Let me speak to something that has been weighing on you heavily, something you think about more than you let on, something that wakes you up at 3 in the morning and sits on your chest like a stone. Money, security, the practical realities of living in a world where everything costs something, and the costs seem to keep climbing, while your resources stay the same or shrink. As a Taurus, your relationship with money is not casual. It is not abstract. It is deeply personal, deeply emotional, deeply tied to your sense of safety and self-worth in ways that other signs might not fully understand. When your finances feel stable, you feel stable. When they wobble, your entire world wobbles with them. And lately, there has been some wobbling. Maybe it has been an unexpected expense that threw your carefully planned budget into chaos. Maybe it has been a stagnation in your income that makes you feel like you are running in place no matter how hard you work. Maybe it has been a growing awareness that the way you have been managing your resources is not sustainable long-term, that something needs to change but you are not sure what or how. Whatever form the financial pressure has taken, I want you to know that it is not permanent and it is not pointless. Something is shifting in the foundation of your material world right now, and while the shift might feel uncomfortable, it is actually moving things in your favor. The universe is reorganizing your relationship with resources, not to punish you or test you, but to align your material reality with the person you are becoming. Because the old financial patterns you have been operating from, the habits and beliefs and strategies that got you to where you are today, they were designed for an earlier version of you. They were good enough for the life you had before. But the life you are growing into requires a different approach, a different energy, a different level of trust and creativity and willingness to think beyond the familiar. And in order for that new approach to take root, the old one has to be disrupted. That is what is happening right now. The disruption is not destruction. It is renovation. Imagine a house that needs to be updated. Before the new floors can go in, the old ones have to be pulled up. Before the walls can be repainted, the old paint has to be stripped. And during that renovation process, the house looks worse than it did before. It looks chaotic. It looks like a mess. It looks like everything is falling apart. But if you could see the blueprints, if you could see the plans that the builder is working from, you would understand that every single thing that is being torn down is being torn down to make room for something better. That is your financial situation right now. It might look messy on the surface. It might feel scary when you look at the numbers or think about the future. But underneath the surface mess, a new foundation is being laid. New opportunities are forming. New channels of abundance are opening that you cannot see yet because they have not fully materialized. But they are there. They are real. And they are heading in your direction. Here is what I need you to do in the meantime. First, stop making financial decisions from fear. Every time you make a choice about money from a place of anxiety, you are operating from scarcity consciousness, and scarcity consciousness attracts more scarcity. Instead, take a breath. Ground yourself in the present moment. Remind yourself of what you do have rather than fixating on what you lack. That is not denial. That is strategic gratitude, and it shifts the energy around your finances in powerful ways. Second, start paying attention to the unconventional. The next financial opportunity that comes your way might not look like what you expect. It might not come through the same channels you have always relied on. It might require you to think differently, to value your skills in a new way, to see possibility where you previously only saw limitation. Stay open, stay curious, and do not dismiss something just because it does not fit the mold of what you have always considered a valid path to prosperity. The practical breakthrough in your finances is coming. It is not going to solve everything overnight, but it is going to crack the foundation of your old financial reality wide open and let the light of something new flood in. Be ready for it. Tip 5. Your body is carrying the weight of words you never said. You hold things in. You always have. It is part of your nature as a Taurus, this ability to absorb and contain and carry emotions without letting them spill over into your external world. And in many situations, that containment serves you well. Gives you dignity. Gives you composure. It gives you the appearance of someone who is in control. Someone who can handle whatever life throws at them without crumbling under the pressure. But there is a cost to all that containment, and your body has been paying it. The tension in your jaw, the tightness in your shoulders, the knot in your stomach that never quite goes away, the headaches that appear out of nowhere and settle in like unwelcome guests who refuse to leave. These are not random symptoms. These are the physical manifestations of everything you have swallowed, every word you did not say, every emotion you pushed down, every moment when you wanted to scream or cry or rage, but instead clenched your teeth and smiled and said you were fine. Your body is a storage unit for unexpressed truth, and it is running out of space. The muscles that clench when you bite your tongue, the stomach that twists when you suppress your anger, the chest that tightens when you hold back tears. They have been doing overtime for years, and they are starting to protest. Not to punish you, but to get your attention. Because your body wants to help you. It wants to process and release the emotional backlog that has been accumulating inside you for so long. But it cannot do that job alone. It needs your cooperation. It needs you to acknowledge what you have been carrying and to create opportunities for release. That does not mean you have to suddenly become someone who wears their heart on their sleeve. That is not your style, and there is nothing wrong with that. You do not have to become loud or dramatic or emotionally demonstrative in ways that feel foreign to you. But you do need to find your own version of release. It might be writing, sitting down with a blank page and letting the words pour out without editing, without judgment, without any concern for grammar or structure or whether it makes sense. Just letting the contents of your inner world flow onto paper where they can be seen and acknowledged and eventually released. It might be physical movement. Your sign has a deep connection to the body, and sometimes the most effective way to process stuck emotions is to literally move them through your system. Walking, stretching, working with your hands, spending time in nature where the rhythm of the natural world can synchronize with your own internal rhythm and help things start flowing again. It might be conversation, not the kind of casual conversation where you keep things light and safe, but the kind of real, honest, vulnerable conversation where you let someone see the parts of you that you normally keep hidden. This is terrifying for you. It feels like giving someone a weapon and trusting them not to use it. But the right person, the person who has earned your trust through consistent action rather than just words, that person can hold your truth without breaking under the weight of it. And the act of sharing, the act of being truly seen and heard and met in your vulnerability, can unlock something in your body that years of silent endurance could not touch. The practical breakthrough that is approaching has a physical component to it. Your body needs to be ready to receive it, and it cannot be ready while it is locked in a state of chronic tension. So start the process of release now, today, in whatever way feels most natural and safe for you. Your body will thank you, and more importantly, it will begin to open in ways that create space for the good things that are trying to enter your life. Tip 6. The decision you keep postponing is the key to everything. There is a decision sitting in the center of your life right now like a boulder in the middle of a river. The water of your life flows around it, accommodates it, adjusts to its presence. You have gotten so used to working around this unresolved decision that you have almost forgotten it is there. Almost, but not quite. Because every now and then, usually in the quiet moments, usually when you are alone with your thoughts, that boulder makes its presence known. It sends a ripple through your peace. It disrupts the surface of the calm you have constructed, and you feel it, that familiar tug of something unfinished, something unaddressed, something that needs your attention but that you keep pushing to the back of the line because dealing with it feels too big, too complicated, too risky, too permanent. And that last word is the one that gets you the most, is it not? Permanent. As a Taurus, the weight of permanence is something you feel more acutely than almost anyone. You know that once you make a decision, once you commit to a path, once you put your foot down and declare a direction, you will follow through. You will not waver. You will not second guess. You will lock in and build and stay the course with a determination that is genuinely awe-inspiring. But that same quality that makes you so reliable once you have decided is also what makes deciding so difficult in the first place. Because you know that your commitment is total. You know that there is no half-measure version of you. And so the act of choosing feels enormous because you are not just choosing a direction, you are choosing a destiny. But here's what I need you to see about this particular decision, the one you keep postponing, the one that keeps you up at night, the one that has been sitting in the center of your life like that boulder in the river. You have already made it. Not consciously, not officially, not in the way that would satisfy your need for certainty and clarity. But somewhere deep inside you, in that place where your true self lives, the decision has already been made. You already know what you need to do. You have known for a while. The delay is not because you lack information. It is not because you need more time to think. It is because the decision you have already made internally is one that frightens you, and you are hoping that if you wait long enough, some external force will either make the decision for you or change the circumstances so that the decision is no longer necessary. But that is not going to happen. This one is yours to make. And the longer you postpone it, the more energy it costs you. Every day that you carry the weight of an unmade decision, your capacity for joy, for creativity, for presence, for connection is diminished. It is like trying to run with a heavy pack on your back. You can do it, but you are slower, more exhausted, less able to respond to the opportunities that appear along the way. The practical breakthrough I keep mentioning, it is directly connected to this decision. Not in a punitive way, not in a way that means you will be denied your breakthrough if you do not decide immediately, but in a very real, very practical way. The breakthrough requires the space that will be created when you finally put this decision behind you. It needs room to land. It needs the mental and emotional bandwidth that is currently being consumed by the weight of indecision. And when you finally make the call, when you finally say the thing or do the thing or choose the path, you are going to feel an immediate and almost physical sense of relief. Like setting down a heavy bag you have been carrying for miles. Like exhaling a breath you did not realize you were holding. That relief is the beginning of the breakthrough. That clarity is the doorway through which everything else enters. Tip 7. The comfort zone has become a cage. I know this is going to be difficult for you to hear, because comfort is sacred to you. You have worked hard for it. You have sacrificed for it. You have built your entire life around the principle that stability and comfort and predictability are not just preferences but necessities, the non-negotiable conditions that allow you to function at your best. And there was a time when that was absolutely true. There was a time when your devotion to comfort was exactly what you needed, when it was the intelligent response to a world that felt chaotic and unpredictable and unsafe. But that time has passed, and the comfort zone that once protected you has slowly, imperceptibly, without you even noticing, transformed from a sanctuary into a cage. The walls that used to keep danger out are now keeping opportunity out. The routines that used to ground you are now limiting you. The predictability that used to calm your nervous system is now numbing it. You are comfortable, yes, but you are also stuck. And somewhere inside you, in a place you might not visit very often because visiting it makes you restless, you know this. You know that the life you are living right now, as stable and secure as it might be, is not the full expression of who you are capable of being. You know that there are parts of you that have never been tested, never been challenged, never been given the opportunity to emerge because the conditions of your comfort zone did not require them. Talents you have not explored, ideas you have not pursued, versions of yourself you have not met, and those unlived possibilities are starting to make noise. They are restless. They are tired of waiting. They are pressing against the walls of the cage, trying to get your attention, trying to tell you that there is more to life than safety, more to success than security, more to happiness than the absence of discomfort. Now, I am not telling you to blow up your life. I am not suggesting that you abandon everything stable and secure and leap into the void with no plan and no safety net. That is not how you operate, and it would not serve you. What I am telling you is that you need to start stretching the boundaries of your comfort zone, slowly, deliberately, at a pace that feels manageable but still challenges you. One new thing, one uncomfortable conversation, one unfamiliar experience, one risk that is small enough to survive but big enough to matter. That is all it takes to start the process. Because once you prove to yourself that you can handle a small amount of discomfort without falling apart, your confidence grows. And with that confidence comes the willingness to stretch a little further, and then a little further, and then a little further still. Until one day you look around and realize that the cage is gone. Not because you destroyed it, but because you outgrew it. The walls are still there, technically, but they no longer contain you. You have expanded beyond them. And the world that exists beyond those walls is so much richer, so much more vibrant, so much more alive than what you could see from inside. The practical breakthrough is waiting for you in that expanded space. It lives in the territory just beyond what is familiar, just past the edge of what you have already mastered, just outside the boundary of what you consider safe. And reaching it does not require a giant leap. It requires a single step in a direction that makes your stomach flutter. That flutter is not fear. It is aliveness. Learn to recognize the difference. Tip 8. The past is trying to teach you something you missed the first time. There is something from your past that has been surfacing in your thoughts lately. A memory, a situation, a relationship, a chapter of your life that you thought you had closed and moved beyond. But it keeps appearing. In your dreams. In your quiet moments. In those unexpected waves of nostalgia that wash over you without warning and leave behind a residue of emotion that takes hours to fade. And you have been trying to figure out why. Why now? Why is this particular memory, this particular person, this particular era of your life demanding your attention at this specific moment? The answer is simpler than you think, and more important than you realize. The past is not haunting you, it is teaching you. There was a lesson embedded in that experience that you did not fully absorb the first time, and it is circling back now because you need that lesson for what is ahead. Think of it like a spiral staircase. You are not going backwards. You are not returning to the past. You are ascending, moving upward, but as you climb, you pass the same point on the spiral at a higher level. The view is different from up here. The perspective has changed. And from this new vantage point, you can see things about that past experience that were invisible to you when you were living through it. Maybe you can see now that the person who hurt you was operating from their own pain, not from malice. Maybe you can see that the opportunity you missed was not actually the right opportunity at all, and that losing it protected you from something you could not have handled at that stage of your life. Maybe you can see that the version of yourself who lived through that experience was doing their absolute best with the tools they had available, and that judging them harshly from the safety of hindsight is neither fair nor productive. Whatever the lesson is, it is asking to be received now, not analyzed, not overthought, not turned into a story that you tell yourself about what went wrong and who was to blame. Just received, quietly, with the open, grounded presence that is your greatest gift as a Taurus. Because this lesson is not just about understanding the past, it is about preparing for the future. The practical breakthrough that is approaching is connected to this cycle of learning. It is connected to the specific wisdom that this past experience is trying to give you. And when you finally receive that wisdom, When you finally integrate the lesson that you missed the first time around, something is going to lock into place. A piece of the puzzle that has been floating around without a home is going to find its position, and suddenly the picture is going to make more sense than it has in a very long time. So instead of pushing the memories away, instead of treating them as intrusions on your peace, invite them in. Sit with them. Ask them what they have to tell you. And listen. Not with the ears of the person you were then, but with the ears of the person you are now. The person who has survived everything that memory contains. The person who is still standing. The person who is wiser and stronger and more compassionate because of what they went through. That person is ready for this lesson. And that lesson is the missing piece that makes the breakthrough possible. Do not let it pass you by a second time. Some people watch, others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting, it's about moving. Tip 9. The abundance you seek is already trying to reach you. I want you to consider something that might challenge the way you have been thinking about your life lately. What if the things you are praying for, working toward, hoping for, longing for, what if they are not somewhere in the distant future waiting for you to arrive? What if they are right here, right now, trying to reach you but finding every door locked and every window closed? Because that is what is actually happening. The abundance you seek, the love you want, the peace you crave, the opportunity you need, it is not far away. It is circling your life like a bird looking for a place to land. But your landing strips are occupied. Your receiving channels are blocked. Not by bad luck, not by karma, not by any cosmic injustice, but by your own habits of resistance that have become so familiar you do not even recognize them as resistance anymore. Let me explain what I mean. As a Taurus, you have a deep desire for things to come to you on your terms. You want abundance, but you want it in the specific form you have decided it should take. You want love, but only if it looks exactly like the picture you have been carrying in your mind. You want opportunity, but only if it arrives through the channels you are comfortable with, at a pace you can control, in a package you can immediately recognize as what you asked for. And anything that does not match those specifications gets filtered out. Not consciously, not deliberately, but through an automatic screening process that your mind runs on everything that approaches your life, sorting it into categories of acceptable and unacceptable, safe and dangerous, familiar and foreign. And so many beautiful things, so many genuine blessings, have been turned away at the door because they did not match the description you gave the universe when you placed your order. The money came, but through an unexpected source, so you were suspicious of it. The love showed up, but it looked different than you imagined, so you did not trust it. The opportunity appeared, but it required change, and change feels like instability, and instability is the one thing you cannot tolerate. So you said no. Or you hesitated so long that the opportunity moved on to someone who was willing to receive it in whatever form it arrived. I am not saying this to make you feel guilty. I am saying this to wake you up, because the abundance is still there. It has not given up on you. It is still circling, still looking for a way in, still trying to find that one open window through which it can enter your life. And all you need to do, the only thing that is required of you right now, is to soften your grip on what abundance is supposed to look like and start noticing what it actually looks like. That unexpected check, that invitation you almost declined, that idea that popped into your head while you were doing something mundane, that conversation with a stranger that left you feeling oddly energized, that moment of beauty that stopped you in your tracks and made your heart ache with a longing you could not name. These are all forms of abundance knocking on your door. These are all the universe trying to deliver what you have been asking for. And the practical breakthrough I have been building toward throughout this entire message, it might already be here. It might already be sitting in your life, disguised as something ordinary, waiting for you to recognize it. So open your eyes, soften your expectations, loosen the grip of specificity that has been strangling your ability to receive, and start saying yes to the things that feel good, even if they do not match the picture, even if they arrive in wrapping you did not choose, even if receiving them requires you to expand beyond the boundaries of what you have always considered acceptable. The abundance is not coming. It is here. You just have to let it in. Tip 10. The version of you on the other side of this is someone you have never met. Everything I have shared with you today has been building to this final point, and I need you to stay with me here because this is where it all comes together. You are not just going through a rough patch. You are not just having a hard season. You are not just dealing with temporary challenges that will pass and leave you unchanged. What is happening to you right now, all of it, the instability, the financial pressure, the relationship tensions, the physical symptoms, the resurfacing memories, the creative urges, the loneliness, the indecision, all of it is serving a single purpose. It is dismantling the old version of you so that the new version can emerge. And that new version, the person you are becoming through this process, is someone you have never met. You have caught glimpses. In your best moments, in your bravest moments, in those rare flashes of clarity where the fog lifts and you see yourself with absolute honesty, you have caught a glimpse of who you are becoming. And it took your breath away. Because the person on the other side of this transformation is not just a stronger version of you, not just a more successful version, not just a more confident or more wealthy or more loved version. It is a fundamentally different version. A version that has been liberated from the fears that have been running your life in the background. A version that makes decisions from a place of power rather than protection. A version that loves freely because it no longer fears loss. A version that builds boldly because it no longer needs guarantees before it takes the first step. This version of you has everything you have been asking for, not because the external circumstances changed, but because the internal landscape shifted so completely that the external world had no choice but to rearrange itself to match. That is the practical breakthrough. Not a lucky break, not a windfall, not a miracle delivered from on high. The practical breakthrough is you, the new you, the you that emerges when everything you thought you knew about yourself is stripped away, and what remains is the raw, unshakable, undeniable truth of who you really are underneath all the conditioning and all the fear and all the comfortable lies you told yourself to get through the hard days. And that emergence is happening right now, not in some distant future, not when the conditions are perfect, not when you have read enough books or said enough prayers or done enough work. Right now, in this moment, through every uncomfortable experience I have described in this message, through every challenge that is currently testing your patience, through every sleepless night and every anxious morning and every moment of doubt that makes you question whether any of this is worth it. It is worth it. You are worth it. And the version of you that is being born through this process is going to look back at this time and understand with perfect clarity that every single thing you endured was necessary, not cruel, not random, not punishment, necessary, because diamonds are not created in comfortable conditions. They are created under immense pressure. And you, beautiful Taurus, are being shaped by the same force that turns carbon into crystal. The pressure is not destroying you, it is revealing you. It is showing the world, and more importantly showing you what you are truly made of. And what you are made of is far more extraordinary than you have ever given yourself credit for. There is something I need to say to you before we part ways. Something that goes beyond the practical advice and the spiritual insights I have shared throughout this message. And it is simply this. You matter more than you know. Not just to the people in your life who depend on your steadiness. Not just to the universe that has been carefully orchestrating the events of your life. You matter because you are a unique expression of life itself. There has never been another you. There will never be another you. And the world needs what you carry. It needs your stability in a time of chaos. It needs your patience in a world of impulse. It needs your loyalty in an era of disposability. It needs your ability to see beauty in the simple things, to slow down and savor and appreciate when everyone else is rushing past the very things that make life worth living. Those qualities are not just personality traits. They are gifts. They are medicine for a world that has forgotten how to be still. And the practical breakthrough that is heading your way is going to give you a platform to share those gifts more widely. Maybe it is as simple as finally feeling secure enough to be fully yourself. Maybe it is as quiet as finding work that allows your natural gifts to flow without resistance. Maybe it is as personal as waking up one morning and realizing that you actually genuinely like who you are. Whatever form it takes, it is coming. The evidence is close. And when it arrives, I want you to let it in. Let it prove to you what I already know. That you are not behind. You are not broken. You are not running out of time. You are exactly where you need to be, becoming exactly who you need to become. Hold on. Stay grounded. Keep your heart open and your feet planted firmly on the earth that has always been your greatest ally. The breakthrough is here. You have two options after this video. Close it and hope things shift, or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.